Hello, everybody, and more exciting news. First, we got a book announcement. Now we're getting a documentary announcement. Andy, wow, what a fast-paced first couple months this has been. We got a fake news, or we got a fake tour poster as well in there.
Yep.
So it's kind of a little bit fun right now. So what do you think? We got, like I said, we got a book, we got a documentary.
It's
Yeah.
it's been an exciting week or so in McCartney world, of whether the fake news tour and then the book, and now the announcement of a brand new documentary. And we've got a great guest here to kind of help us and tell us a little bit about it, Mitch Axelrod. Hello, Mitch.
How you doing, guys?
All right.
Doing good. So Saturday night, no one expects anything like this kind of thing on a Saturday night. And, what do you think led to this being announced on a Saturday night?
It's so funny because I just happened to be at my computer for doing some stuff for work.
Mm-hmm.
And 8:19 p.m., I get an email from Paul's publicist. And again, I'm sure it's a mass email, so I'm not trying to, say I'm the only one who got it.
Yes, we got it.
Yeah, everybody got it. But 8:19, and I just said, I've got to start spreading the news like Frank Sinatra stuff. So
Right.
I did. I mean, I spread it everywhere, and then I got an email back saying thank you. But you know what? I have a feeling, and this is just pure speculation.
Mm-hmm.
Two things. I have a feeling that the whole world of rock and roll will be talking about the Grammys starting, tonight, tomorrow, Monday.
Right.
And maybe this would get lost in translation if he announced it Monday morning.
Okay.
Because you and I don't really care about Beyonce and all that good stuff unless she covers the Beatles, and then we'll talk about it. But other than that, I couldn't care less about the current Grammys. So yes, the Beatle fans would be talking about this press release, but I think they want more than just Beatle fans to
right.
So I think maybe that's one of the reasons. But I've never had a press release on a weekend. Never.
Right. But the flip side to that then is, and we'll get more into this when we talk about, is these things take time, right? This could be 2 to 3 years away. There's time. There's time to announce it later on.
I just wonder if and again, this is all speculation.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Alan and Adrian's book had anything to do with them announcing the announcement. It's really an announcement of an announcement. I mean, it's really because they're not announcing release dates or anything else. They're just saying we are planning to do this undertaking. So I wonder if maybe they could have done it any day, but so I can't explain it for Saturday night with that. But I'm just in general, if they were going to announce this with a release date, then
you would have known it would have been in the works for some time.
Yeah, but they're just saying this is now going to be in the works. Now maybe it's done. We don't know.
Right.
And maybe maybe
we don't know.
In a week they'll say it's going to be.
It'll be released.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Andy, okay, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I've never had a press release on a weekend, and I'm not sure. I think they were just excited.
All right, Andy. So do you have the news bit up there, Andy? Or
I have it. It's so it's going to be called "Man on the Run."
Well, working title, "Man on the Run," directed by filmmaker Morgan Neville, and we'll quote who did the excellent "You Won't You Be My Neighbor" documentary. Excellent documentary.
Yeah. Man on the Run will serve as the, quote, definitive document of Paul's emergence from the dissolution of the world's biggest band and his triumphant creation of a second decade of musical milestones, a brilliant and prolific stretch. So it's everything that we've always wanted, but now is the $64,000 question. How accurate and authentic is it going to be in terms of portraying Wings and not just Paul and Linda 2.0, which was Wingspan?
If you don't mind, I read up a little bit on Morgan Neville. He's a huge Beatle fan. Huge Wings fan.
Okay.
And as I wrote this morning on our page, the Fab Four Free For All, sorry.
Right.
I wrote this morning that I think it's going to be different, very much different than Wingspan, because I think personally Wingspan was a labor of love for Linda to show that she was in a band and she was very much a member and I still think, like I wrote, Denny and Linda's harmonies formed the Wings sound. So, and it was done by Mary, so it's nepotism.
Right.
This one is going to be done by an outside independent producer who loves the Beatles and McCartney, and with Paul's full cooperation. So I think it will be done in a different perspective. I don't think you're going to have Wingspan 2.0 about Paul and Linda. I think you're really going to have a comprehensive Wings documentary.
I definitely hope so. Yeah, when you got an outsider coming in and not a family member doing it, I think you're going to see a whole different perspective. There is one thing I kind of question here. It's silly, but it's a quote from Morgan. This is, as a lifelong obsessive of all things McCartney, I've always felt that the 1970s were the great under-examined part of his story. I don't see that. I mean, if anything, that's all people ever talk about is his 70s output.
Right.
Yep. They talk about the 70s output, but as far as a comprehensive telling of that, where have we seen that?
Well, we've seen it in this book right here, Man on the Run by Tom Doyle. Who, yep. I mean, he could be, using this book as source material, and then obviously now we've got the first volume of McCartney Legacy, right? That does.
You're talking about print. Now we're going to see it.
Right.
I mean,
right.
And he has access, according to the press release, to all things home movies and everything, and other Wings members who are still alive. So I think video-wise is where the difference lies. In Wingspan, we didn't get many full songs at all, I don't think.
No.
It was just clips in here.
Clips, yeah.
Right. I think, if anything, again, all speculation, I think this one will probably have some talking heads, but I don't think it'll be talking heads other than maybe Wings members or Paul. I hope. I mean, I don't need Whoopi Goldberg telling me how much you like Wings. But
right, that's my other concern. Like, I don't want this to be 8 days a week. No,
I don't think it will be. I don't think Opie's involved, so that's good. No, but I think this one will be very comprehensive. Now, whether they use everything for source material, like even Alan's book or that book, that's great. But video-wise, I think we're going to see more than we've ever seen.
Well, that would be great. Now, the next question is about that career-spanning documentary we were supposed to get with the conclusion of the 2020 Glastonbury appearance by Paul McCartney. I believe that was Charles Lightning. I believe that was going to direct that. Correct me if I'm wrong out there. But then where is that? I mean, do we just give up on that now? He still did perform at Glastonbury just last year. So I would much rather see, hey, listen, I'm happy for anything that we get, but this career-spanning documentary is the one thing that I was really hoping for.
I think you can get both, because one focuses on the 10-year period, and then one focuses on the 40-year period or whatever it is. And I think in the career spanning, you may even be able to take part of this documentary and use it, and because don't forget, from 1980 to 2023 is 42 more years.
Right.
So I mean, the 10 years is like Ringo always says, they always want me to do an autobiography, but they only want the 8 years of my life. Well, this is only 10 years of 52 years of Paul McCartney solo. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think we can get both. I do.
Right.
So
you did a wonderful thing earlier this morning, and it was exactly what I was wanting to do with this, if you hadn't joined us or if you hadn't written this thing. And that was your list. You talked about 5 different, things here. And we talked about a couple over here, but first, the one that we'll start with is your no release date. Now, we live in a world now where everybody wants the information now. You know what I mean? No one is happy with just, it's coming, right? We're not happy with why we're not getting sometime in New York City, even though we probably know why we're not getting it, but we want the explanation from the camps, right? So in a world of we want all of our news right now, well, we're not getting it. So right now it is just kind of speculation when we're getting it. Like I said, these things take time. I mean, that George Harrison documentary by Scorsese, I mean, that took years, and this could be the same thing. Don't you think, Mitch?
Yes, but I methinks that there's a lot more to this than is being told. I just have a feeling that either it's half done or more than half done. I don't think this is starting now.
Yeah.
McCartney is 80 years old, going on 81.
Yeah.
And look, I want him to live forever. I really do. Because, as long as he's not roller skating and breaking a hip, as we saw, with Ringo on February 3rd.
Right.
I have a feeling they're not going to sit there and say we're going to do this in the next 3 years, because we don't know what the future holds tomorrow.
It's a good point, Mitch. It's probably gonna. I would bet maybe the next 6 months to a year this will be out.
I have a feeling by Christmas time,
we'll
be seeing it on some, and I don't know anything, believe me.
Right.
Just ask my wife. But I do have a feeling that by Christmas time we will see something of a streaming, whether Netflix or Disney.
Well, then right. So then that's the next thing now. Okay, we see Disney Plus being kind of like the front runner now with getting these things with the Get Back, right? With
Beatles, though.
Not like Mary's thing, but
Mary,
3-2-1 was on Hulu.
Correct.
So it could go anywhere. Now with Hulu 3-2-1, we didn't get a physical media release. Now with Disney Plus, we did with Get Back, even though it was kind of a debacle.
Yeah. No, reluctantly. They don't like doing it. It doesn't make money for them.
True, but again, if they were smart, they want to continue with the fans of home media, because there still is a bunch of us. It might not show in the bottom line when you get your P&L, but
that's all they care about, though, brother.
Yeah, I get that. But anyways,
I think it will be released. I'm not so sure Disney Plus would be the first choice that McCartney would go to on this.
Could go on anything.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look, the one who offers them the most, and quite frankly, the Beatles are still so freaking hot because of Get Back.
Right.
I mean, Get Back really did a number on their legacy. I mean, in a good way. It brought so many young people. I mean, I watch TikToks every minute of people doing not only Get Back stuff, but like early stuff. So it brought young people in. So whoever offers him the most money, I'm sure.
Hey,
Netflix.
Look, Scorsese drops, the Rolling Thunder Dylan film on that. It could be Netflix. It could be anything.
Right.
I hope it's not one that we generally like Hulu. Unfortunately, I don't subscribe.
Right.
So I'd subscribe to everything else because my kids but not Hulu.
Right. Or like Paramount Plus or something like that.
I want to. If they're going to do it on like a smaller streaming network, then I'm hoping there definitely will be a physical release.
Right.
But if it's on like a Disney Plus or a Netflix, we could all figure out how to do that.
Oh, absolutely. So then the next thing, I guess what we want then now is it just going to be a feature film, or will it be a series? When you're telling a story like this, I mean, it's got to be longer than the usual 95 minute.
That was going to be my question.
Right.
Is it going to be a 90-minute made for everybody, or is this going to be a 2.5-3 hour film?
Well, two ways of thinking. Because I always tell my co-host that you would think that they want to do something for the mass audience. So if you're talking mass audience, then it's a 90-minute to 2 hour.
Right.
Still you could still have comprehensive Wings in 2 hours. You can. You just maybe not, the hardcore fan won't get what we really want, but we'll still get a comprehensive telling of Wings. I would love it if they broke it down to like where they did 3-2-1, where you're doing, 70 to 71 or 72. It depends, because that's not really Wings. That's Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney. And then you get Wings. And then you can maybe do the big, the 7, maybe even, maybe Jimmy and Joe get their own part, because that was a huge part of Wings, album wise and tour wise. And then maybe the Steve and Lawrence part get the third part, because that was still a big part of Wings, even though the output wasn't as much.
And you know that 1/3 of this film is going to be occupied with the end of the Beatles and Klein and the breakup.
I don't
that.
Think so.
Right.
I don't
know if he's I think you might start off with the depression of having the Beatles go.
I hope you're right.
Because I mean, I would love to see the whole movies Linda took of him drunk. No, I'm kidding. Everybody, he said he was drunk. I didn't see it.
No, that's on the record.
Yeah, it is on the record. But I would love it to. I don't need a retelling of the Beatles breakup and how it affected Paul. all I need is like a 5-minute thing on how it affected Paul and how he moved forward.
Yes.
Once you start that, then, because if that takes up too much time, Andy, like you said, then that'll be less comprehensive than we all want. I don't think even the mass fan needs to hear all the, the intricacies of the breakup. I think they just need to hear the Beatles, the biggest band in the world, broke up. Paul was depressed, and he moved on.
And if you want to know, read Adrian and Alan's book, and you'll find out.
Yeah, a lot.
And that just depends on who they're going after. I mean, if they're just going after the casual fan, then they are going to include that, because the casual fan doesn't necessarily know that. Just like we got that little, 10-minute, opening reminder
of the Beatles history.
Exactly.
10 minutes. Right.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
We needed to know who the Beatles were.
But again, I mean, you have to do that for the casual fan, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I don't know if you have to do as comprehensive. Like they did a 10-minute thing for Get Back. I'm not so sure you need to do that. I think you just need to know. I would love it if it opens up with the headline on the mirror of Paul splitting the Beatles or whatever, and then go from there and have Paul himself say it was rough and tell whatever he wants to tell. I drank for a year and a half, and then Linda finally said, "Get the hell off the couch and let's go." And you're Paul McCartney, and then go from there. That would be perfect. That could be 3 to 5 minutes, and I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, I don't need any more.
Right. Now, I would also love it to be more of anthology than Wingspan. We talked about it a little bit, but we also want to make sure that, members of the band also get their say in this, don't you think?
Yeah, I would think that you would have Steve and Lawrence at the end. Steve Lawrence. But I think you would have... Sorry, my mother went to school with Steve Lawrence. I would think you'd have them. I mean, Jimmy's no longer here. A lot of them are no longer here, but I would hope that you had Denny, because Denny was a big part.
Oh, absolutely.
And it gives all the surviving members of Wings a real good last chance to tell their story. Over 50 years on now, to kind of set the record straight. It seems that Paul's on good terms with just about everybody else. I mean, he's got a good rapport again with Denny Lane now, and I know that Denny on a podcast said he got a copy of the 7-inch singles box set Paul sent him. So, he seems to be on good terms. And we don't really know. I guess Joe English is kind of the odd man out now. But
no, you won't be able to get him. We tried to get him on our show. He's in the monastery in
Texas,
or wherever he is, and. They don't even forward his mail because they think we would, Paul poisoned him with rock and roll and the devil's music.
Trust me, all of us podcasters want Joe English now.
Listen, I'm a drummer. I loved his drumming on the tour and everything. I think he was really good. And I liked his voice on "Must Do Something About It." So I would. I think Danny Sywell is still around and on good terms with Paul.
Yes, he is.
So you could get. Unfortunately, I would really love to have Linda in this, and maybe they'll do archival footage.
Well, see, and that's how you get Jimmy included, right? That's how you get, Henry in there as well with
Jimmy McCulloch. Sure.
Yeah, that's how you get them in there, is with footage of them, because there is interviews out there with them.
Oh yeah, there's a lot, and I think if you add in the Sywells and the Denny Lane, especially in the beginning of Wings, because Denny Sywell obviously played on Ram before they called it Wings, so. And then Wildlife, which I'm sorry, I've really gotten to like a lot in the past 10 years. My goodness.
Yes.
But I think Denny would be, the two Dennys would be a nice bridge. And then, of course, you get Denny with Paul. I would love to have Denny sit with Paul, Denny Lane, and discuss, like Band on the Run and stuff. They were together for a long time.
Yeah, and have the two of them sitting down, over the multi-track and going through it and stuff. That would be cool.
See, now we're doing the old fantasy hardcore fan stuff.
Yes,
I would love to have that as an extra,
Or how about a scene where all the members of Wings and Paul are just sitting down in a circle,
like the Genesis documentary. Yeah, they're all sitting there.
They're all just sitting. Where they're all just sitting around talking. That would be an awesome part of this film.
I don't think it will ever happen.
Oh,
fair.
I mean, I would love it to happen, but I don't know if Paul would let that happen. Paul likes to be the focus.
Yeah,
understood.
And he should be. I mean, this is the whole debate about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I don't think Wings should be in because it was really Paul McCartney, but that's another discussion.
You're right, Mitch.
But quite frankly, well, I've never been told I'm right. Holy cow! He told me I'm right. Sorry. No, but I mean, I think that, you know, without Paul, I mean, Wings is just another group.
Oh, exactly. We've talked about that before.
Yeah,
I mean, no Paul McCartney, you're not going to go see Denny Lane in a, you know.
No, I'm not. But I do think, I mean, that would be really nice to have them all sitting around. I just don't think time-wise or logistically. I mean, Denny's still touring, and Denny Seiwell's still doing stuff, and Lawrence Juber's doing everything. So,
oh, yeah. Yep.
I mean, I would love it, but I wouldn't get my hopes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting now because the director says in that article that like he obviously wasn't old enough to buy Beatles records, but he bought Wings records, and that brings up a nice point because it's like Wings is old enough now. I mean that's like the band that, you know, people in their 40s or 50s or something, that's what they remember growing up hearing. So that's their Beatles. So it's nice to see Wings get really appraised now, 50 years later.
It's funny you say that because Rob Leonard, my co-host, he tells the story about his first album was Wings Over America. He was doing, you know, his father coaxed him into doing the lawn, cutting the lawn, and he got money for it. And the first album he ever bought was Wings Over America. So, you know, and Rob is going to be 60. I don't think he minds. So, you know, I started earlier, but no big deal. But, you know, you're right. Wings right now is a lot of people's Beatles. And, you know, the old joke about, you know, Paul was in a group before Wings, but it's now true. It's weird. It is weird to think that Wings is 52 years old soon.
Right.
But people are finally realizing stuff that we've known all along, which, you know, they finally caught up to us, Mitch. You know, it's like...
Yeah, but Wings is a very important part of Beatles history. It is. I don't know how many people really want to, and I say this reluctantly, I'm sorry, I'm going to get crap for it, but you know, there's a part of me that doesn't know if the casual fan cares about Wings like we do.
That's fair.
I don't do that in any malice or I love Wings, and again, I'll tell you, London Town, my favorite Wings album. I know that's controversial, but there's a lot of Wings that I can't live without. And maybe it's because of the jump from the Beatles, but I'm not so sure if someone started off with Wildlife that they care about a comprehensive documentary. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe that's to answer your other question, Tom. Maybe that's where the audience lies. Maybe they do it for the mass Beatle fan that enjoyed Wings as well.
Because, you know, the hardcore fan sometimes does get pushed to the side with these kind of releases in a way. You know, we want to get the casual fan where you can jump, you can forget about Wildlife in a casual fan documentary, right? Because you know, they're not gonna be any of the wiser about it.
No, as we know,
and he toured with it.
I understand that, but again, us hardcore fans know that, not the casual fans.
No.
If you're telling the story, that's you know.
Yes, I agree.
You know, he had the balls to go in a van to the colleges unannounced. I mean, that's right now. That's what kids are doing now. I hate to say it. That's what bands are still doing to this day.
Showing up and playing.
My son's favorite rapper is doing a college tour, and that's what Paul did 52 years ago. So you know what? I think you need it in there. Do the casual fan care? Maybe not, but who cares?
No.
You've got to have it in the comprehensive.
And that's a great point because, like you said, he was so ahead of himself doing these things. I mean, he announced it during that meeting in September of '69. Let's just get on a bus and go to, you know, go low key dates or colleges or whatever.
Yep.
And people are doing that now, like you said. I mean, it's important for younger people to see that he was like one of the first to do something like that.
Yes, and that's the other big important point I want to bring up. The Beatles were very innovative in everything they did. We know that. But Paul McCartney into the 70s, while he may not have been innovative musically, was still, because we have debates on whether the solo Beatles were as important in the 70s, and we're doing a show on that. But quite frankly, Paul was still the man I mean, I don't care what.
Oh, yeah.
No offense to the actual song, The Man, which I hate, but Paul was still. Come on, no, but Paul was the man in the '70s. I mean, no doubt about it. Oh, get away. Just 8. No, but all kidding aside, he still got the rhodium disc or whatever that is, and for having the most, he's still one of the most prolific. Was the most prolific songwriter in the '70s as well. So people forget that Paul McCartney was still very influential to everybody, even after the Beatles.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to be shown in the documentary.
No, I agree. I mean, like you said, he might not have been on the cutting edge, or he might not have been leading the pack in music, but up here, with ideas and how to represent yourself. I mean, he still was the best PR man in the '70s.
And look, his bass playing. I don't even need to say anything. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, Mitch.
I know it sounds silly, but no pun intended. But "Silly Love Songs" has one of the best bass lines going
ever.
Yes.
I mean,
ever.
Come on.
Mitch, I want to get your take on this. Having attended the last couple of fests, it was very apparent to me. Talk about audiences and who would this be geared towards. There's lots of Beatle fans out there that are just Beatle fans. They don't even go into the solo stuff.
Right.
And maybe that's and that we always just assume everybody likes everything like us, right? We tackle the Beatles, we tackle all the solo. But there's plenty of fans out there, and I met lots of them. They don't care about the solo stuff. They don't care about Wings. They're just Beatles people. And maybe this could be for them too.
I'm going to give a nod to Tom's other co-host, Ken Michaels, who is a huge solo fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's people like him that hopefully will be keeping the solo stuff alive. All kidding aside,
Right.
You're right. It's just that I feel that maybe, can you really, as I just said, can you name a lot of solo Beatles stuff that just was boffo? I know they all had number ones and everything else, but if I saw a weird list of the greatest songs of the '70s, and not one solo Beatles song was on it.
Wow.
And it was like top 30 or 40. And unfortunately, the Beatles aren't as big in the '70s, even though they sold a lot.
Yeah.
But, so that's why, a lot of people don't care about, and let's face it, I mean, nobody's going to care about Sometime in New York City, which may be one of the reasons it's not coming out as well. No interest. And that's not a joke. I just think there's not enough interest in Coin to make it worthwhile. Maybe it'll be a download at some point. But I to your point, Andy, I think the Beatles will always be the Beatles, and especially since Get Back.
But a film like this, okay, you've got the book out now by Adrian, and you've got that book out, you've got a film now. McCartney is very hot. You mentioned he's going to be 81. There's going to come a time, and my co-host always says this, where they're going to go after he's gone, and they're going to go, holy crap! Look at the 55 or 60-year solo career that the guy had that most people don't even know about.
Yes, but I will ask a very rhetorical question. I would love to see the sales of the Get Back book versus Alan and Adrian's book.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not putting down Alan and Adrian. Their book is amazing.
Yes.
If you've read it, my God.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even if it sells boffo, I think anything the Beatles put out just sells more.
It's the machine.
Of course.
It's just the way it is. And it's not putting anything on the Beatles as solo artists. They were great. I mean, even Ringo, I still think the Ringo album should have a deluxe for its 50th. It's deserving, but does anybody else?
Which goes to show that's why he's probably doing all of the more than half of his set list is Beatles songs for his tours.
Well, I mean, is anybody? I would go to a Roundheads concert and see all that stuff. I would.
Yeah, so would we. Yeah.
But that's hardcore.
Yeah.
You're not going to get little, Johnny and little Anna sitting in the front row with a yellow submarine doll and hearing Choose Love. You're not.
No. No.
And that's, unfortunately, I don't even know if Ringo would sell out if he didn't do an all-star thing.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. I mean, he...
Not going to do a 2-hour show of all Ringo stuff. No one's going to go. I don't mean no one. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think as much as I think the solo careers were amazing, because I guarantee you, so many artists would love to have even Ringo's solo career. Not all kidding aside, he had still 3 number ones or whatever, 2 number ones, and On My Mind was 5 or whatever it was. I think anybody would give their right arm to have a career like the Beatles had solo, but the Beatles, unfortunately, have to live up to themselves.
Okay.
Let me ask one final question here. Now, this is obviously tackling the 70s. I mean, and I agree with you, Tom. I think that, saying I've always felt the 70s were the great under-examined part, that's open to interpretation. But why can't we get a film on, a documentary on McCartney's 80s or his 90s? I mean, there's a story to be told there. There really is.
I'll tell you why. Tell me the 3 albums that came out in the 80s.
Well, there's more than 3.
More than 3. You mean the biggies?
Biggies? Yeah.
Tug of War, Flowers in the Dirt.
Okay.
All right, those 2 aside. Now, tell me after. Now, again, I know we call it Piece of Poop and it's Pipes of Peace, but after Piece of Poop, what is there?
Oh yeah,
Broad Street and Press to Play.
Okay, those 2 right there. Broad Street was a bomb, even though the album was good, but it's still a rehash of Beatles.
Beatles songs, right.
And Press to Play, as much as I love it, and I'm sure you guys do too. Paul hates it, or not hates it, but dismisses it,
distances himself from it. But
yeah, so what is there to talk about in the 80s unless you start at Tug of War and end it at obviously Flowers? But is there that much to really discuss?
I think so.
Okay, but you're a hardcore fan, so am I. Is a mass fan going to watch a documentary of Paul in the 80s?
No.
There you go. You and I will watch it until it burns its tape. I'll watch it until it burns on the screen for the streaming. I don't think a mass fan will care about just
not yet, but when he's gone, I bet you it'll happen.
Maybe. Do you hear any Paul McCartney solo from the 80s on the radio at all, even on an oldie station?
Well, I mean, I think that's apples and oranges. I mean, there's a lot of great artists that you're not going to hear on from
First
the
of all,
80s.
Who listens to terrestrial radio anymore? I've
not
got Sirius.
I don't even hear it on the Beatles channel. A lot of Paul from the 80s.
Well, that's a whole other thing. That channel needs to be upgraded.
Well, don't go there. No, but I'm being serious. I mean, the big hits from Tug of War is Ebony and Ivory,
right?
And not many people are loving on the mush. I like it,
right?
And it went to number 1 for what, 6-7 weeks. But when people still complain that he did it live in '89. So
No More Lonely Nights, huge hit.
Was it though? Number 6 in the States.
Yeah.
Is that a huge hit?
Top 10 single. It's a single for a guy who was 44 years old at the time. I'd say so.
Okay. But again, we're having this debate. It shouldn't be a debate. It should be, these are the songs that we should hear and love. And you and I the 3 of us are having a debate about what is good and what's not, or what's big and what's not. I don't think it qualifies for a doc. And maybe after he's gone, I hope that his solo career is examined. I just don't know. And that scares me about the future. The Beatles will always be here.
Right.
The four-headed monster are never leaving. The individual Beatles, in 50 years' time, is anybody going to care about Photograph? It's rhetorical.
Yeah, it's to be seen.
Our descendants will,
my kids may tell their kids about, that was Ringo Starr and he had a big hit.
Right.
And then people will say, who's Ringo Starr? And that's unfortunate. Oh, he was in the Beatles. Oh, now I know. But it all goes back to that four-headed monster. I hate that. And I'm not trying to be.
No, that's great.
No, Mitch, you're spot on, man. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It's hard because I don't want that to get lost. I mean, as a 61-year-old guy, I want the Beatles and the solo careers to go on forever.
Right.
I just don't. I know the Beatles will. I'm not so sure the solo will.
Right. Well, okay, we'll wrap it up there. The working title right now is Man on the Run. That's the documentary name as it stands at the moment. Yeah, still
Yeah.
no real release date. But Mitch, Andy, you're kind of thinking maybe it's already been being worked on. Maybe at some point this year, maybe towards the end of the year, we will see it being worked on by Morgan Neville, who did this excellent documentary, "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" Check that out. But Mitch, thank you very much for joining us on this conversation.
I appreciate you having me on. I think just the last word. I want people to understand that we're very fortunate to still be able to get stuff like this. Whether
this is a great time still.
Yes,
still
whether it's a documentary about McCartney's feet or this, we have to understand that we're blessed to have them around, and I think having them around will only add to the good stuff, because after they're gone, I don't know what we're going to get, or if it's going to be as good or comprehensive. So enjoy it, people, while you can. Seriously,
we're very blessed and thankful that we have what we have still.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, let's tell us what you think about the documentary in the comments, and we look forward to reviewing it when it finally comes out. So, Mitch, again, thank you very much. Andy,
thank you, guys.
my friend, keep on that recovery train. It's sorry we had to drag you off the couch for this, but
that's why it was 1.5 legs, but we needed Mitch to get to Mitch to kind of hobble us along.
No, that would have been 1.5 years.
Right.
In joke, people. Sorry.
Yeah. But anyways, we're looking forward to this release, and we will be talking to everybody real soon. So as always, have a great day and a beautiful night. Take care, everyone.
Oh, take care.